And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Ticket Tourney 1v1 challenge between Aneesh Salaram and Eshan. I don't know how to properly pronounce his last name. There it is. Hit it one more time.
Sing!
All right, it'll be quite the matchup. We've got Stepper, Lanky Boy, as the resident referee. The two beefy boys going up against it, Kiwi Slayer and the Rizzler.
We'll be having a jump ball.
Hold on. We're gonna get ref input.
I must stay biased.
Lay down the ground rules for the game,
yes.
and it's technically unbiased.
No biting, no scratching. Everything else is on limits.
Hair pulling.
Hair pulling is on limits.
All right, let's get to the jump ball. The ball has been tapped up in the air, and Eshan with the jump puts up the layup, and it goes in.
But, we'll see. What are you expecting to see on this first opening possession, Brian?
I'm expecting a hard drive, and here it is, hard drive to the right here. Oh, with the fadeaway, and he bricks it. Who will get the rebound? Hard contact, a kick ball.
And he picks up the rebound.
Not called by the referee.
Oh,
Not called by the referee.
Well, Aneesh
Eshan.
gets the ball anyway.
Yeah, Eshan loses possession there. Aneesh,
My name's Hingham Kingleberry, point guard, Balsall Hard University.
That's really going to be the matchup today. Aneesh's shooting versus Eshan's physicality.
Oh, Eshan with a rare three, and it airballs, typical.
It did make contact with the net, and so that's something to...
Nothing but net, not even the points, if you will.
You might say. Anyways.
Oh, just pull up, and another airball. I will say, we're off to a disappointing start.
You might think they've forgotten how to play basketball with the way that they're playing so far. But as we saw in warm-ups, anyone can get hot at any time.
Oquavius Tyrone, power forward, yo mom's house.
Tough drive from Eshan here. Backs it up, hitting him with the dribble moves. Aneesh apparently letting him get the mid-range. Another fade, and unlucky bounce there. No shooter's touch for Eshan.
He just can't get the finishes in the paint, and that's the thing. As Aneesh gets some deep, aggressive penetration here.
Just completely whiffs. Eshan with it, not going to take it out because of the air ball, and he scores.
And one, in my opinion.
1 point for Eshan. It's 1-0. Aneesh with the ball. Bites on the pump. Gets the drive.
Gets into the post. Just backs him
just
down.
backing him down.
And wow, that was one of the shots I've ever seen, partner.
I mean, I will say it was some aggressive and, quite frankly, impressive penetrating. But once again, the finishing just was not there.
I'd have to agree with you there. Sweet.
These are some great moves by Eshan here. I'll say I'm surprised to see a 1-0 lead from Eshan here. I was expecting this game to start a different way. An amazing drive, and he puts it in again.
And again, this is something to watch if Eshan's physicality can really just overcome Aneesh's overall higher skill, perhaps.
This was the storyline of the game. It's Aneesh's three-point versus Eshan's driving ability, and a great drive by Aneesh there to come back. It's 2-1. Yeah, I will say, once again, that was the storyline. Aneesh was planning on just throwing up threes. Eshan was planning on just pretty much bullying him with the size. There was worry between Aneesh not being able to get hot and Eshan not being able to finish. But as we see here, Aneesh has attempted 1-2 threes and airballed them. Eshan is just demolishing him in the paint. Another fadeaway. Oh, and he's aggressive with the rebound.
Get the rebound. A very questionable.
Yeah, a questionable shot. And we have our first foul called of the day. It's a pushing foul on Aneesh. It'll be Eshan's ball.
You can see him fighting the call. Aneesh, very notorious for aggressive fouling.
A pull-up and another air ball. I will say I would like to see some more leg movement in these shots.
I think there might have been a strong gust of wind. Someone, I think, opened the door when he took that shot. So that's probably why that happened.
They were entering rock climbing there. That definitely could have had an effect.
It's possible.
Aneesh and a break, but he's lucky with the rebound. Will he pull it again, or will he go to work in the post?
You can see there, Aneesh has no confidence in his shot. After he throws it up, he's immediately charging in for the rebound, which some would argue is just good hustle, but I say is a sign of low confidence.
I can see where you're coming from, but I will say that is part of Aneesh's game plan. He said he was going to chuck up threes and then just beat him for the rebound if for some reason they didn't go in. A tough drive here, beats him around the corner, and scores. It is all tied up here, 2-2. I will say this is going to be quite the gritty matchup.
This reminds me of their matchup in 2K, actually. Eshan got out to an early start, but Aneesh was able to shut him down later on.
A good drive there, but once again,
Unlucky there.
yeah, unlucky shot.
I think the longer that this goes on, the more it favors Aneesh given his cross-country and track background. So we'll see if he tries to build on that.
A hard brick there. Yes, I will say Eshan's got the physicality, but Aneesh will beat him in the stamina game. That was also another thing. He's like, if I'm not hitting my threes, I'll just outwork him. I'll make him tired and beat him when he gets tired.
Really
and
great insight from you on Aneesh's strategy going into this game.
yeah, I'd like to do some homework. You know, Eshan, he was really just he's trying to use his what a shot there. You know, I was not expecting that to go in. It's 3-2 Aneesh here. And we're going to see how this goes. They're voting for a score change, and we will take our first water break of the game here.
We will be playing to 11 as opposed to 15.
Okay, total points to 11.
They're tired.
And we'll take our first water break.
What was it for you taking a dunk for that long?
Okay, and Aneesh is shit-talking the ref. Will that hurt his calls later on? Oh, a fight between the ref. You know, I say there is some controversy to be said about Aneesh taking the lead and then immediately trying to lower the maximum score here.
And some very aggressive defense. Some of this is a little suspect.
Yeah, I would argue a foul there, but ref is letting it play on. And he gives it to Aneesh. Wow. There's some controversial calls being made, I will say. We'll have to go back on tape.
Right there, were they fighting or flirting? Because Sam seems to be giving Eshan all of the calls here. Or Aneesh, excuse me.
Uh-oh. And another brick. Will that go out of bounds? Aneesh saves it. Does not step on the line. The referee gives it to him. This is, again, a questionable call, but that's not our place. We're here for the colored commentating. Aneesh backing him down in the paint. Decides to go back out to the three. Both players are obviously gassed here, you know. There's something to be said about their coaches' conditioning programs. And there's also something to be questioned about our refs' credibility.
I'd have to agree. You know, he has an extensive basketball background, but it's kind of questionable given that he's roommates with Eshan and best buddies with Aneesh off the court, although obviously not right now given they're fighting. So we'll see how that plays out as well.
I would just like to know that last shot that Aneesh took, his foot was clearly on the line, but the ref awarded 2 points. So, I mean, maybe he's just a little sleepy. Aneesh with a drive and another point, goes up 4-2. I mean, Eshan's already tired, and so he's beating him in places where he should not be beating him.
Going places he shouldn't go, if you would. And, you know, this really isn't what you want to see if you're Eshan. As he just can't finish. Wait.
He can finish, but he is outworking, you know. He's honestly...
He is, but he just can't. Oh, my God.
I would be dismissed to say he is stat padding, if you will.
You know, the thing is, if you're Eshan, you know, you can't get beat in the post. You can give up the threes, but the post is where you should be.
And it's 5-2 Aneesh with that shot. I mean, this is going downhill quick for Eshan. If I were him, I would vote for a water break soon before this game gets out of hand.
I would too. The rules were not explained very well, so not really sure if the players are even aware that they can call for a water break as Eshan tries to back down Aneesh in the post. I'm not sure.
Oh, see, he was talking about getting that mid-range in the play. It just doesn't seem like it's falling for him today.
You know,
just unfortunate. And, you know, with the ball out of bounds, I think we're going to award a water break here.
Break at 6. We'll break at 6.
All right, they're going to break at 6. Again, this is some interesting...
Wow. Oh, no.
The bank shot, 7-2, water break officially called.
Trying to match up with some very inexperienced players. As we see our ref taking some shots, maybe our ref should be playing instead of reffing because he is actually pretty nice with it.
And with that, we're starting the action back here. I will say this match has only gone on for 11 minutes, and it is 7-2. Eshan really needs to step it up here.
And we see him immediately try to penetrate into the post again. A clear, okay.
Okay, we got the foul here. We got the foul. A holding foul, calling on Aneesh. And again, he's arguing. Maybe they're making some kind of deal for afterwards behind closed doors without the cameras. And that's why he's getting so many calls. But, once again, not our place. We're just here to provide unbiased commentary on the game.
Although if I did have to guess, I would assume a deal would entail, money, sexual acts, something along those lines.
I will say it is known that Aneesh does help Sam with practically all of his homework. So I feel like he is inclined to be a little biased here. Maybe we should have gone with a different referee. But, Eshan's gameplay just hasn't been there. I don't think he's been losing out on too much.
I'd agree. He plays some solid defense here, but he just has to
Lets up the
out.
three. Gets the rebound. And we're going to see how this possession plays out. He needs to put in a bucket here. Aneesh has gone on a cool 6-1 run, and there's the bucket, making it 7-3. This is a very interesting game, I will say.
It is. Something about Eshan's game, very unorthodox, the positions that he'll take his shots from, and it sometimes works in his favor because he's able to create very unique angles to put up his shots from that Aneesh just can't stop.
I think that's part of the game plan. I will say one issue here is he's down by 4 points, which is 2 threes. However, Eshan does not have that in his bag. And Aneesh could pull up another three and just run away with this. So,
Sure.
He beat around the edge and bricks the layup. Eshan bitching about a foul call rather than going for the rebound. Gets beat again, not using the physicality. I will say, this is a disappointing performance.
I mean, Eshan simply looks gassed at this point. Aneesh is spry as a spring chicken, and he...
Wow. What?
No.
Oh, 1 point. Okay.
This ref.
All right,
I don't
now
know about this ref.
we're running on 1s and 2s, but he's an official referee, so the 2-point field goal. 2-point field goal technically counts for 1 point in this setting. Oh, Eshan finally using his body here.
But now he's trapped.
He's trapped.
Really,
Wow, just big muscles him. Who's the possession being awarded to? Out on Aneesh, awarded to Eshan. He will get a second chance.
I like that call. I think that was a good call. Very close. Can't really hurt to give Eshan a few more possessions at this point. We'll see. Like we keep saying, he needs to keep scoring. He can't afford any more lost possessions. Oh, and he pulls up.
If he can get that to hit, it'll put him right back in this game. It's already a low percentage shot, and with Eshan, it's a very low percentage shot. Aneesh with a very easy uncontested rebound.
What I like... Oh.
Breaks the three, beats for the rebound, and is able to get it. I will say, Eshan needs to step up his game. He's just getting out-hustled.
I'd have to agree.
And a travel.
Oh, wow.
A travel has been awarded. It will be Eshan's ball.
That is not what I thought would happen there, but I'd have to agree with you. Eshan is just getting blasted on the boards, bent over and destroyed on the boards. He really needs to hustle as he does get a point.
That was textbook drive and poke. He got the deep penetration and he was able to finish, and that's just what he needs to do if you want to get back in this game.
He needs to finish all over Aneesh's face at this point, as he does pick up the rebound there. The rebounds really have been the story of this game to me, because Aneesh certainly is not draining all of his shots, but he's able to rebound his and Eshan's misses at a rate that Eshan is just not keeping up with.
Yeah, I will say 8-4. This is a very doable comeback. However, once again, Eshan with the mid-range bank shot, making it 8-5, excuse me, bad math there. It's 8-5. This is very doable. I think he can continue to just chuck up threes, and once they fall, it'll be good.
No, I'd have to agree. And, just having the threat of that shot, like we were discussing with Eshan, is a big deal. As he gets out-hustled again, not sure what Eshan's doing here. He really needs to get some hustle in.
Yeah, I will say this is very interesting gameplay. 8-5. This is still anyone's game. Oh, he pulls. And Eshan gives it to him uncontested, major brick, and gives him the free layup. And it is now 9-5.
You see, after that shot...
which is water break for the shoe tying. could be in trouble here. He's got match point. A 3 will seal the game. But if he argues about another call, he could lose points. Okay, we're gonna come here from Aneesh and get some insight. So, Aneesh here, you've been playing some phenomenal ball here.
No.
You know,
Emmanuel, quickly, we're disappointed. I need to play up to his standards.
Okay, get off his dick, first of all.
I just need to play like
Okay, can you tell me when you made the decision to revert on your 3-point strategy? We've seen more drives than we were expecting here.
Yesterday, that's the point. He didn't expect the threes. Or he didn't expect the drives.
And some psychological warfare going on here. All right, Eshan. So you've been, quite frankly, you've been getting outworked here. You know, he just looks like he wants it more. How are you going to turn? It's match point. He puts up a 3. That's game. How are you going to prevent that? And how are you going to come back?
Don't give him space. Make him work for every single point.
Sounds like we're going to get a little bit more hustle out of Eshan in this second half here.
I'm excited to see it. You know, I'm all about penetration in these games, and the more penetration that Eshan gets into that paint, the better. So let's see it happen.
All right. Here we go. Eshan with the ball. Some deep penetration straight out the gate. Breaks it, and he outworks him for the rebound. Gets poked out on Eshan. It's Aneesh's ball. Now, this is where the buttholes pucker up. 1-3 ball in last game. He's got to play intense D here.
You know, not really sure what that metaphor was right there, partner, but, you know, I did like the hustle out of Eshan. Just couldn't get the shot to fall. We'll see if he can keep that hustle up on the defensive end.
Bragging rights.
And you know what? Look, he is like a man possessed right now. Really liking this hustle.
You know, that shot just was not there. I can't say I blame him, though. Another abysmal shot, but Aneesh out-hustles him. I mean, that was just a hustle rebound right there.
No, he looks very fatigued. I mean, we see him here, very sweaty, very tired. He simply needs a basket. Oh.
Wow. What a deep, powerful penetration there. Just couldn't
Really
not
strong.
finish.
Oh, my.
Another fadeaway.
Oh, man. And just can't get back on defense to hustle. Cavaliers NBA Finals run down 3-1. We'll see if Eshan can be LeBron in this scenario.
I mean, he's backing him down here. He's forgetting to look at the goal before he shoots, and is just blindly chucking the ball up there.
Yes.
You know?
You have to wonder if the fatigue is kind of contributing to the breakdown in his game. Oh, as we see a
Wide
jumper.
open mid-range. He's got to be able to put those away. You know, before the game, I was talking to him. He said he's got to get that mid-range. A 3 for the win. And it's brick heading our way. Saved by Aneesh here. Another pull-up. And a complete air ball.
You know, some might wonder, was that a pass by Aneesh to himself to get the other corner? He just couldn't get there in time. I'm not really sure. But we see here Eshan with yet another chance to close this gap. He's just not converting, similar to his game in FIFA.
Yes, I will say there have been way too many dead, non-scoring possessions for Eshan here. He's got the opportunity. He's just not closing out. And he beats him on the drive, and he's able to put in a bucket. 10-6. This is, I'm inclined to say we have a game on our hands, but it's still match point. Eshan appears to be focused on the crowd here. He does not appear to be locked in. You know, Aneesh, on the other hand, he is hungry. He wants it.
He does. You can see as he's playing in these vans, Aneesh is from the streets. You know, he's from the trenches.
A deep 3, and he banks it in for the win.
Incredible. Some great sportsmanship here.
Yeah, great sportsmanship at the end. Let's go for our post-game interviews. Aneesh.
Emmanuel, quickly.
Aneesh.
No.
All right. Just a disappointing post-game interview there. Eshan, you know, you came out a little slow. After the second water break, you got hungry. It was clear that you wanted it, but it just looked like you were gassed. Anything you wish you could have done differently?
Conserve my energy early on. I think because of my lacking in the shooting category, I was forced to drive every play. That burns you out quick, man. Just the nature of the game. Yeah, definitely lots of notes to take from this instructive loss. And yeah, props to my opponent, Aneesh. Played phenomenal basketball. But yeah, it's a fun game out there. Tough loss.
All right, phenomenal sportsmanship from Eshan here. Has some solid takeaways. Will we see a rematch in the future?
100%. Anytime, anywhere.
Anytime, anywhere. Eshan is down for the rematch. He said, I will develop that jump shot, and I will win with my penetration.